So if you've been to a gas pump over the last few weeks, you are intimately familiar with the biggest issue facing our country right now, which is energy inflation, runaway energy inflation, huge spikes in gasoline prices, which are disproportionately impacting low-income South Carolinians. Now, a lot of this has been driven by the Russian Federation's invasion of Ukraine. Russia, one of the world's biggest energy providers, obviously any war in which the Russia's involved, sanctions against Russia by the global community, including the United States, specifically the ban on importing Russian oil, it's going to have an impact on gas prices. In fact, U.S. President Joe Biden acknowledged that last week. He was asked about the impact of American sanctions on gas prices, and he basically said they're going to go up and there's nothing we can do about it. Obviously, this was a big issue at the Donald Trump Save America rally in Florence, South Carolina over the weekend. We attended that rally. We shot the entire speech that Trump gave. We filmed the guest speakers. We interviewed those in attendance. So we're going to have a ton of coverage from this rally. But I wanted to start off that coverage by fact-checking the president on some praise that he gave South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster. Now, we're going to do a much bigger piece in the coming days on the president's former president's relationship with Governor McMaster and how it's one of the oddest, most nonsensical political relationships I've ever seen. But to start that series and to begin that process, I wanted to look at something that former President Trump said about the governor in relation to this energy issue, this energy debate. He said, and I quote, "Your great governor is promoting inexpensive gasoline for your cars." That's what President Trump said. In fact, we've got a clip of it. Let's take a listen. Here's exactly what former President Trump said about Henry McMaster on the issue of gas prices.
Did you see Kerry the other day on television? Here we are. Everyone's dying for energy. Your prices are going up. Your fuel tanks are costing you 4 or 5 times more. And some they can't get fuel. And he's saying, no, this is a good time to be promoting windmills. This is a good time to be promoting the green agenda. I tell you what, your great governor isn't promoting it. He's promoting inexpensive gasoline for your cars. Inexpensive gasoline. And he's also an environmentalist, I have to tell you. Henry, we love you, Henry. Henry, I hear you have like no opposition. You better not have. You better not. Any Republican that goes after Henry, I'm going after that Republican, okay, Henry? Nobody's so stupid.
Here's what your great governor's promoting: inexpensive gasoline for your cars. Now, is that true? No, it's not true. It's not true. And in fact, I want to rewind the tape back to 2017 because that was McMaster's first year in office. And it was that spring that the governor vetoed a tax hike on gasoline. Now, wait a minute. I know you're thinking, wait a minute, you just said he vetoed it. That means he was against it, right? Well, you would think. You would think. But the governor did something with his veto back in 2017 that was incredibly duplicitous, and it was incredibly harmful to the real taxpayer advocates in the General Assembly, people like Tom Davis. Tom Davis, by the way, spent 3 years filibustering a gas tax increase. 3 years. Tried it again the 4th year. They were able to sit him down and get the tax hike passed. But they did not have enough votes to override a gubernatorial veto. So Tom Davis went to the governor at that time and told him, said, listen, we need more time. Please, when this bill hits your desk, don't veto it immediately. You have time. In fact, the Constitution gives the governor basically 10 days to decide whether he's going to sign or veto a bill. Tom Davis said that time is invaluable to those of us who are trying to get this veto sustained. In fact, we were 2 to 3 votes away, and if you just give us time, we can get it. Did the governor help? No. As soon as that bill hit his desk, he immediately signed it in what Senator Davis called a drive-by veto. And not only did he do that, not only did he deprive the taxpayer advocates in the General Assembly of the opportunity to work those 2 or 3 undecided votes, he also didn't lift a finger himself, didn't expend 1 ounce of political capital to try to get his veto upheld, sustained. Now it gets worse. A couple months after the gas tax passed, Governor McMaster hired the leader of the tax hike movement as his new political director. So again, you tell me, what was the governor doing there? Was he fighting for inexpensive gasoline for your cars? No, he was playing politics with this issue. And again, this is a recurring theme for Henry McMaster. He is not working for you. He is working for special interests. He's not serving you. He's serving them. And I don't know how he was able to pull the wool over Trump's eyes, but he hadn't pulled the wool over mine. And as you're going to see this week, we're going to expose a lot more about South Carolina's Republican governor and how he's a tool of the special interest, not somebody who's standing up for South Carolina taxpayers.